The Ark of the Covenant, also called the Ark of the Testimony, was more than an ornate chest. It was the physical manifestation of God's presence among his people. Crafted according to divine instruction, it was made of acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold, symbolizing both incorruptibility and divine majesty. The ark was designed to house the tablets of the law, God's covenant with Israel, making it a sacred testimony of his holiness, justice, and faithfulness. Atop the ark rested the mercy seat, a golden cover flanked by two cherubim with outstretched wings. This was the very place where God's presence would descend in a cloud, speaking to Moses and later the high priests. It was here, once a year on the Day of Atonement, that the high priest sprinkled blood, signifying atonement for Israel's sins, foreshadowing Christ's ultimate sacrifice. Wherever the ark went, divine power followed. It parted the Jordan River, caused Jericho's walls to collapse, and struck down those who touched it irreverently. Yet, it was not merely an object of awe. It symbolized God's desire to dwell with his people. Ultimately, the ark pointed forward to Jesus Christ, the true Emmanuel, God with us, who fulfilled the law and became the eternal mercy seat for all. The Ark of the Covenant was more than a sacred chest. It was a powerful symbol of God's presence among his people. Constructed according to divine instruction, the ark housed the tablets of the law, representing God's covenant with Israel. Atop the ark was the mercy seat, flanked by two cherubim with outstretched wings, where God's presence would descend in a cloud. It was here that the high priest sprinkled blood once a year on the Day of Atonement, seeking forgiveness for the people's sins. The ark led Israel through the wilderness, parted the Jordan River, and brought victory in battle, all testifying to God's faithfulness, justice, and mercy. Yet, the ark was a foreshadowing of something greater: Jesus Christ, the true Emmanuel, God with us, Matthew 1 verse 23. Just as the ark carried the law, Jesus embodied it, fulfilling every command in perfect righteousness, Matthew 5 verse 17. The mercy seat, where blood was shed for atonement, found its ultimate fulfillment in Christ's sacrifice on the cross, Romans 3 verse 25. The ark signified God's presence, but Jesus himself became God dwelling among us, John 1 verse 14, making atonement not once a year, but once for all, Hebrews 9 verse 12. The ark had to be carried into battle, but Jesus is our victory, conquering sin and death, 1 Corinthians 15 verse 57. While only the high priest could enter the Holy of Holies, Christ tore the veil, granting all believers access to the Father, Matthew 27 verse 51, Hebrews 4 verse 16. Jesus is the true Emmanuel, not just a symbol of God's presence, but God himself, dwelling with his people, offering eternal redemption, mercy, and the fulfillment of the covenant.